Hello, this is Stefan for the Raw Exchange. Yesterday I've posted this image and the people ask me, how did you do this? And I'm going to show you. Well, the base image was this one, and I basically used these hands and transformed and copied these elements to fill the whole place, and I did some, well, perspective corrections, and I placed some light bulbs. To understand this process, I'm going to show you something about the vanishing point and about the perspective in an image, because this is crucial if you work with anything that has to do with perspective. So every image has a vanishing point. The vanishing point is the point where all the lines in the image meet. So I can simply use this little thing here in the wall and this one, and at a certain point these lines meet, and this is my vanishing point. The vanishing point is, so to say, the middle of the image. I can use a ruler and a second ruler, so I have kind of a cross here, and I have my horizon line. This is the horizontal line, and I have this one for the perspective in the vertical area as well. The shape layers, I can get rid of the shape layers. So there's one thing. If you, for example, want to have this element here, let's cut this out and duplicate it. So if I want this element a second time here, for example, I have kind of a problem, because I can move it to this part, but I have a perspective problem. I can try to fit it in, but it will actually don't work very well. So the good way to do it is to use the anchor point and the vanishing point. So the anchor point is the point where I can rotate an image, and if I move this anchor point, I rotate this image around the anchor point. And if I move the anchor point to the vanishing point, I can rotate and scale this part of the image around this vanishing point. And now if I press Shift, I can rescale this part in the right ratio, and if I press Alt at the same time, I'm going to rescale it around the anchor point or the vanishing point. So if I move it now, it keeps the perspective. And well, it's not 100% correct, so I can just do it like this. I have to do some more cutout, but I think you get the idea. So I can use any element and just move it, or move it to another place. So if I want to have like this part again, so let's do cutout here. So if I want this part, transform, move the anchor point and press Alt and Shift, and so I can move this in the right perspective. So this is the base of you need to know about perspective, about the vanishing point, and about the lines in an image. So you can do this in every image. If I have this one, for example, I can simply use some lines. Two are actually enough. And if I now move this or cut out this piano and duplicate it, Command J, transform it, move the anchor point to the vanishing point, and I rescale it, it keeps the perspective. Well, the cutout is not perfect here, but I think you get the idea. So this is a very, very powerful tool, and you can use this for composite all the I'm using this for composite all the time. So in this image, I used it to duplicate all the hands. I'm gonna show you the process here really quick. So the first thing is I try to get my vanishing point. So I use these lines here and do it like this, and here is the second one. So this is my vanishing point, and do it like this, and well, it's not exactly in the middle. Let's try to be very precise here and get rid of these two shape layers. So I grab my lasso tool and select some of these hands, duplicate it, Command J. So now I have only hands, and I can move them to the right or to the left, because to the right or the left I don't have a change in perspective. So I try to get a bigger area of hands, create a mask, and use a black brush to make this mask, well, the edge of this mask invisible. So like this. There is so much detail, you don't need to be super precise, so it's a very fast process actually. Then first let's duplicate this, and then I merge it with the layer below with Command E, and I can select a bigger part of the image, duplicate it, transform it, move the anchor point to the vanishing point, and press Alt and Shift at the same time and move it. So let's do some of the hands here and create a layer mask, use a black brush and make a soft edge. So I repeat this process for some time, for a couple of times. I think it was like 150 layers or something like that. It's not a big deal because, well, it's a very fast process actually if you get used to it. So I can always move it with pressed Shift key. I can move it to the right or to the left. So it will keep this line, and so I don't mess up with the perspective. Mask it out, merge it, do a new selection, duplicate it, transform it, move the anchor point, and Alt and Shift, and create this one. So mask, make it transparent. I don't want any hard edges here, so it blends with the layer below. I only do the edges I can see, so I don't care about the edge above because there will be another layer on top of it. So let's do another selection. Duplicate it, transform it, move the anchor point to the vanishing point. Alt key, Shift key at the same time. Whoa, messed up. Transform, move the vanishing point, now the anchor point to the vanishing point. Alt key, Shift key, grab a corner and rescale it, move it like this. Mask. So, well, some people use something like a brush without a soft edge, so it's like a, I don't know, something like a strange brush, like something like that or that for this masking process, but I don't see advantage in this, so I'm using just a normal brush. I'm actually using the normal brush all the time. So moving the anchor point, so move it and make a selection. Now make a mask, create a soft edge and make it like this. I could also activate the feathering here, let's say for 10 pixel. This could give a good result. Transform. Probably don't need to do the masking process then. I actually haven't tried this, but it's, yeah, it seems to work. So one less step. So as you can see, I get a repeating pattern there. So this dark area here, this is kind of bad. So I can simply, or this one is also a repeating pattern. I don't want repeated patterns because repeated patterns make it visible what I've done. So I can just put another one here and grab some from here, duplicate it. So duplicate it, transform it and move it over here. So anchor point, this is important, and move it over to this one so I can cover it up. So you can also make it bigger, of course. So duplicate it, transform it, go to the center here with the anchor point and make it larger. So I can cover the stuff here as well. I can move this to the right or to the left, of course, like that. And I will have hands here over the whole image. So I try to avoid this head because this head would give a repeated pattern here, and I really want to avoid repeated patterns. So just grab this part, duplicate it, transform it and move it to the left. So I have it here, and then I use another part and duplicate it, transform it, move the anchor point to the vanishing point and make it a little bit bigger. So put it there, and now I want to reveal the head. So I'm gonna create a new mask here, layer mask, and well, paint in with black here where the head is, because I really want this one head. So, and that's basically the process. So as more of the area I get, the faster the process. So I can just move the stuff and grab another part. I'm doing this quite randomly. So, and now I can, well, need some hands here. Duplicate, transform, move it to the left, merge it. So as you can see, this is a very fast process. So then I can grab a bigger area And I also do some feathering here. Let's say I'm doing also 10 pixels. This is probably enough, and duplicate it. Let's see. Yeah. Transform it, move the anchor point, and press Alt and Shift and move it to the top. So, unfortunately, these edges are visible, so especially if I rescale them a lot, so I have to do a little bit more masking on top. But well, that way I can easily create an infinite room filled with hands. So from this to this was a few minutes now. So in this example I did the whole area here, and I'm gonna show you the rest of the process. So what have I done? First, I did get rid of the stuff here, of the temple, by simply using one layer. So, missed two. And then I applied a curves layer to get this cyan look. And then I placed my bulb here. So there is a little trick about the bulb. This is a folder with the bulb and color correction for the light falling on the hands. The color correction is actually quite simple. Just get rid of some of the cyan, means the blue and the green, add some light and add some red, so I get, well, basically the normal color again. The bulb itself I put in a smart object, and then I copy just the group, and I did the same thing, moved it to my vanishing point. So why do I put this in a smart object? This is my smart object. I opened the smart object and I got my bulb here. So the bulb is cut out, and I have some color correction, made some color correction to the metal part here, and I also did get rid of some of the saturation. So that way I can, well, if I, let's say I paint in with green here, so you can see it. If I do this, it applies to all my bulbs, because this is a copy of a smart object. So it's like, well, I can just do changes on one bulb and have it applied to all the others as well. This is the whole trick. It's fairly simple. So what I'm doing then is I just copy the layer and have it like here. I can move it to the right and to the left, and it also creates the little light here. And if I want to make it further away, I do the same thing, move the anchor point to the vanishing point, press Alt and Shift, and I can just move it backwards. So this is the whole process. Then as I created here multiple bulbs, light bulbs, I just made a stamp of all this stuff, and I duplicated the stamp and rotated it 180 degrees. So I have the same thing here on top. Of course I have this awkward black line here, and I have some repeated patterns, so I did get rid of the repeated patterns. And then, yeah, here another one. Then I created a line for the horizon. It's just painted, and I did some more color correction to get it really in this dark mood. I really like the mood of the image now. So what does this curves layer do? Well, actually just make it a little bit darker. So this is the whole process actually. So it's fairly simple. So you can especially with the images from our city series, which is made with a 80 megapixel medium format camera. You have so much detail here. I mean, this is ridiculous, and you can simply use elements you like and create something new out of it. There are endless possibilities, actually, because of the high resolution. This is really, really awesome. So this is just a little quick tip on how to create rooms out of nothing, and especially for things like that. It's very, very helpful to know about the vanishing point. And also, if you want to put a model here in this room, it is very, very helpful to actually know the vanishing point. Well, if you want, I can show you. This is not planned, so it probably will be a little bit awkward. No, so just log in here and gonna download an image, let's say from Jamari Lior package. let's see what we something. Well, go to the second one. Let's see. This one is nice. Yeah. So I'm downloading this image, and I open this in Photoshop. So, sorry. So if I want to put this image into this one, I have to make sure the vanishing point of the model meets the vanishing point of the background. So what I'm doing is creating a line, and well, the paper background here is perfect for this. So I have my vanishing point here, and especially looking for this and this. So get rid of the shape layers, and I'm gonna create a little line here and a little line here. And I also clean up the background a little bit. Well, let's wait a second. Let's do this as well here and here. So I'm gonna clean the background. In order to do this, I just grab a brush and paint over that stuff with some colors I pick. So, well, as I said, this is going to be a quick example. So it will not be perfect, but to show the perspective thing, it will be enough. So this is it, and I'm gonna merge it to one layer and copy it and paste it. So as you can see, it's fairly big, this image, and I'm making it a little bit smaller. So, and I have these little markers here, and the markers for the horizon and the vanishing point have to meet. So this is basically the correct perspective of the model in this background. So let's put this into multiply so you can see it and make it a little bit brighter. The levels here, so you can see it better. So if I wanna move this girl, make it smaller, make her smaller, I have to use the vanishing point, and then I can just move her in the room. And this is basically, well, that's basically it. That's all about, it's all about doing it like this. Of course, I can make her smaller as well. So I think she's too big. I just make her a little bit smaller, and she's then pushed backwards. So that's basically it. Another trick when integrating models, what I do usually is I just grab something from the background here and duplicate it and transform it. So it's gonna be bigger. Duplicate it again. Transform it. So I have here another layer. Don't want these two. And can also use a brush and paint just some gray in, so I have the whole image filled with the gray from the background. This is a very fast way to put a model into a scene. It's probably not the best way, but it's at least it's a fast way, and you will see the process in a second. So I try not to paint over the dress or her face or anything else. So I have one layer with all the model related stuff here. So, and I can play with different modes. So I can use multiply, for example, or I can use different color modes. Well, multiply works most of the time the best. Soft light sometimes, but I'm gonna use multiply for this. Duplicating this layer, and I'm using levels to make it a little bit brighter. So I don't want to see a change between with model or without model. So I can just work on this. So make it a little bit brighter. So as you can see, this is just integrated. And the nice thing is you keep all the shadows here. So if I switch the model on and off, you see that the hairs are extremely good integrated in the image, and also the shadows. So what I'm doing is I use my copy of the layer and use this in normal mode and make a mask, invert the mask, and then I paint in with a white brush all the stuff I want to have not transparent. So I can just paint in her dress and her arms and all that stuff. So I'm not super precise here, but you can do a way better job than I do, probably. Just want to show you the process because it's so simple, and the people are always asking me why I'm not doing cutouts, because I try to get away with blending as much as possible. So of course this one needs to be done properly, and also here we will not have transparency here. But here in the dress, probably some transparency is not a bad thing, especially on the soft stuff here. It's a good idea. So I think you get the idea, right? So now I have these two layers. This is my group, my model. And well, this is far from perfect, but for the purpose of showing you some stuff, it's quite good. And I can now use the whole thing here, and if I move the vanishing point, the anchor point to the vanishing point, can move her back and forth. And as you can see, all that things in the hairs and stuff, if I make it, if I rescale this, this is all the shadows and everything keeps intact. So this is the magic of working with the vanishing point. So if you want to have the model real close, you can do this, and you will still have the correct perspective. So it's not possible to have the model like this, because this would make no sense, because she's would be really, really large. So yeah, keep this in mind. This is probably a good tip. And we will have some more tutorials for you very soon as we started with the blog. And yeah, we are going to show you the whole process of doing composites and working with perspective and stuff, all the tools, whatever. So have a nice day. This was Stefan for the Raw Exchange, and take care. See you next time.